Assalamu alaikum. Today's video is going to be different. In fact, I'm going to change up how I used to do the videos before, because in the beginning this was started just as a request for a friend to teach over the COVID, to teach her, and because of memory in my phone and her phone would get overloaded when I send her video of instructions, then we decided to do it on YouTube because it just doesn't take any memory for either one of us. And then she told a friend, and she asked her for another request, and I had another friend who was asking for another request. Another client of me wanted to learn something, and so forth. I made a couple of videos, and now I thought, you know what, I'm having fun. Why don't I go ahead? Today it's gonna be an easy project, but it's gonna make me a little challenging to do it just in English, because I don't usually do silai, which is sewing, in English. But here we go. Let's go. Very easy. Sometimes if you wear modest, you buy a shirt or a blouse or a sweater that is too short, and then your hip or your thighs are showing and you're not comfortable. So what's out there is, it's basically a skirt that you wear under that blouse, or a skirt that's short, so it extends it. So basically it's called a shirt extender, it's called a faux shirt, or it's called a fake shirt, skirts, whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of videos out there, but when I was searching to see, or to teach, or to somebody, I found that most of them are either in Morocco or Algerian, or some of them are just showing you a shortcut version, not doing the whole thing, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, or they were made out of like t-shirt jersey material, which gives you a totally different look, but that's also an option. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about a couple of steps, or a couple of different aspects. First is, which is the easiest, shortest, very, I think almost anybody who has this machine and knows how to use it, it's very easy. You just take a shirt that anybody can do with basic sewing skill. Is you take a shirt, either buy a new one, or maybe a shirt that you got a stain on the top, or a shirt that you bought but you don't want to really wear, so you either wear this shirt under your sweater, or you just make a skirt out of it. So basically cut it down, just do a basic measurement from here, has to be the same from here. Where your waist is, you're gonna go about 1.5 inches above that and make a cut. So for example, this is a 10-year-old shirt, and I would say her waist come around here, so I'll cut it here. And if you want, you can make a base stitch here if you don't want it to be opened from here, but I really don't care. But I would make a small stitch here just so it doesn't open while you're finishing up your work. So what you're going to do is make a cut here, and then put the elastic, say example, if this is elastic, I'm pretending it's upside down, so you're just going to flip the elastic inside to your waist, and that's where your mini skirt is done. So pretend there's nothing here. That's your mini skirt, fake skirt, whatever you want to call it. That's basic, very easy. No problem, right? Then the other ones would be, is you actually buy fabric, make a measurement, take a measurement of your waist, your hip, your body, not your shirt, your body, waist, your body, hip, and how long you want it from your waist down. Most, I see the front is 15, the back is about 18 inch, which is great. So if your waist is, whatever your waist, it doesn't matter, actually the hip, because you want the fabric that wide, like we talked about before in pants making, that you want this thing that wide so you can pull it on your, from your hip, it goes up, and then the elastic makes it fit, right? So if your hip is, say for example 36, you want it around 38 to 40 inch, the width of this skirt from here, just so it fits easily, and you don't want it too snug from here. Now if you're working with jersey t-shirt material, then you're not going to have an opening. You're just going to take either a t-shirt, same thing, cut from here, put elastic in it, that's it, right? Or if you wanted A-line, more A-line than that, then you would just take a fabric and make a small mini skirt with elastic on top and just fold from the bottom. But because we want to make it look like it's a dress shirt under, which gives it a nice look, like with button and stuff, you're going to take again the waist measurement, right? that's for the elastic only. That's what you need for your elastic. So for example, if your waist is whatever, I don't know, 20, you're so lucky, 25, whatever, you're gonna take the elastic exactly 25, and and where you cut it, you're gonna overlap it and stitch it down, and you have a loop of elastic, and then you put that aside. The fabric, when you cut it, I'll show you. I made a pattern for one. Say your hip is total, say 36, you're going to go for 40 then to make it more space, and then plus 1 inch for half inch each seam allowance on each side. We're going to work on that all in detail soon. The reason I'm going in detail because I found some people are intimidated with sewing. It's a lot of measurement. Once you get the measurement right, and inshallah with saying bismillah, and once you cut it, there's no going back. Yeah, so once you got the measurements right, you cut it. Sewing is not difficult. So yeah, make sure you understand the pattern, you understand how you're gonna pull it, how you're gonna wear it, and so forth, before you actually start cutting. Like I said, once you cut it, there's no going back. Usually, you need to either put piece in and so forth, and we don't want you to go in all that headache. So with this, what we're talking about, very basic. It's basically 2-piece front, 1-piece back. As you can see, this 1-piece back would be the back. The front will be basically same measurement at the back, plus 1.5 inch for this front, plus 1.5 inch for this front. So if you look at the back and just look at the quarter of it, quarter of the shirt, sorry, half of the back, right? So 36, we added, make it into 40, right? 40 plus half inch allowance from this side and half inch allowance for that side. This is your pattern. That's all I want you to concentrate on, is this side, this quarter. So once you got this pattern cut on a newspaper or a piece of paper, whatever, then you're just gonna double fabric and put it on, and then you have the back. And for the front, you're gonna put the same pattern here, or else the other side round doesn't matter, don't worry about that now, and have another piece of fabric under. But what you're gonna do, you don't want it folded from here. You could have it folded, but you can have excess of 1.5 inch here. This shirt has a fabric stitched on top of it. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna fold it around, okay? So fold it around. The folding, we need an 1.5 inches at least for this quarter, and 1.5 inches for this quarter, for the fake opening for button and so forth. Take it, okay? Yeah, see, Urdu's coming out. So next I'm gonna show you a pattern I already made for one. So I had a client, which, okay, she's my friend's daughter. My friend wanted me to shoot out for her name. I'm not gonna say her name, but she knows herself. Hi. So I made a pattern for the size she gave me. She gave me a waist, she gave me a hip, and then I added a few more inches on it. And then this is the front. What I did was, on a piece of paper, I drew out what the skirt would look like, very roughly. And I would recommend for you to do this sort of thing when you are trying to understand measurements and numbers. Very rough. For me, it's very rough. See, so I was looking at the pattern. I was looking at her waist. The front, she wanted 15.5 length of the front, basically. And the back, she wanted the back to be 18. Her hip was 36. I added on to 40, and the quarter, because I'm just gonna, for the pattern sake, I'm just gonna look at the quarter. That was 10 inch, right? And then I was looking at the elastic. If she's saying 29, I said 30, but I'll get back to that. Anyway, so I made the quarter for the back, which was 10 inch width, plus seam allowance was half inch. The length, well, 18. But from the side, I want a little coming up, just like you see here. See? The length is longer, but when they come on the side, see? It comes a little up. It just looks handsome, and it helps when you're sitting and getting up. It gives you some space to spread your legs and so forth, right? And that's it. And the seam allowance for the top, where you're gonna fold the elastic, is 1.5 inch also. So when you go for the front, I don't have a pen on me, but for the front, I added 1.5 to fold the fake button, right? The length is 15.5, and the length on the side is 13, same as this one, because they're gonna stitch to each other, right? And the width is actually 10, plus the 1.5 for fake buttoning, and 1/2 inch over here is gonna be for seam allowance. So here's what this translates to. Let's look at the front first. The front. This is 10 inch from this line to this line, plus seam allowance. The seam allowance is this, it's gonna go in here on the side. And this is where you're gonna fold a little bit and then fold for the button. So at the end of it, you're gonna have, with that folded seam allowance, you're gonna have 10 inch. I'm gonna show it right here. So I put it on the fabric and I cut it that way. I made 2 fronts, right? This side and this side. See? So what you're gonna do is basically, before you even stitch, you can just fold this over, or just iron 1 centimeter and then 1 inch. I just iron it down, or you can even do a stitch here. That's it. This side. You don't have to do the other side. Same thing here. 1 centimeter and then 1 inch, right? And just do a stitch here, right? And that will be overlapping. And then when you are stitching, 1/2 inch will come inside the seam, both sides, and then you'll end up with 20 inch front, and then you have 20 inch at the back. Okay? And also, while you're just doing this, what I want you to do, I did 1 inch extra. When you're doing a curve fold, you really want to just fold very, very thin, right? Even though length, she said 15.5, I made it 16.5, just to give her more length. So when you fold, you're going to fold this small. When you go very slowly on the sewing machine, what I would recommend you do first, just a base, just this one, and then when you come to, and then just pull it a little bit at the thread at the end. When you do this, pull the thread a little bit, and then that will give you a little curve, and then you go like this. It will let you fold easy, and then when you iron it, it will sit nicely. So that's the curve side of it. Now the back, it's even easier. The back is just that 1 seam allowance on the side, because the back is like, it's just 1 piece, right? And so you put it on a folded piece of paper. It's folded from this side, it's open from here, and you go like this, right? So you open it, voila. And what you do basically is you're gonna put this here, you're gonna put this here, right? So after you have folded those and you folded this, you also would fold this. What you could do is either stitch this first and then fold the bottom so they come together, or you can do other way around, it doesn't matter. So I would personally stitch this first and then start folding the bottom. Once you're done with that, pretend this is done like this, right? If you want, you could stitch this together, the 2 fronts, and then all you're going to do is, just like we learned from the other videos of how to put elastic in, you're just going to add the elastic. This is elastic. I'm going to just put it here like this and like this, and stitch it and pulling it, and I'll show you all that, of course. So that is, and that's your mini fake skirt thing, whatever, extender. It has many names. And don't worry about this. I use black fabric chalk. When you iron it, comes off. And that'll be, inshallah, a piece of cake to sew. So I'll sew some of it before putting the elastic on and before putting any buttons. I will sew the sides and sew this part, and then show you how I'm going to be making the curved bottom, and how I'm going to be doing the elastic light. Okay, so I'll be back.